Hi tech lovers, in this video I'm going to show you the best budget HP laptops. Through extensive research and testing, I have put together a list of options that will meet the needs of different types of buyers. For more information, I have included links in the description box below. Now the first product on the list is HP Pavilion Aero. It's not often that a laptop truly surprises us with what it offers, but the HP Pavilion Aero was an exception. For its official starting price of $759.99, it's already a phenomenal laptop with powerful processors and a great screen, but these days, it's often discounted below $600, and that makes it easily one of the best laptops you can buy at that price. Starting with performance, the HP Pavilion Aero is powered by AMD Ryzen processors, specifically starting with an AMD Ryzen 5 5625U, which is a 6-core, 12-thread processor with boost speeds up to 4.3 GHz. That's one of the best processors you'll find on any laptop at this price, and it's paired with 8 GB of RAM and a 256 GB SSD out of the box. There is some room to upgrade, but it'll depend on ongoing sales if you want to stay under $600. Either way, you're already getting a great experience in the base model. It's not just the internals that make this an impressive laptop, though the display is also great. It's a 13.3-inch panel with a 16:10 aspect ratio, which is taller than a typical 16:9 display and great for productivity. That aspect ratio is already a rarity at this price, but on top of that, it's Full HD Plus 1920 by 1200 resolution, which is also very nice to see at this price. You can even upgrade it to Quad HD Plus 2560 by 1600 for just $30, which is just fantastic. Finally, there's the ports, and the supply we get here is also pretty good. You get one USB Type-C port, 2 USB Type-A ports, HDMI, and a headphone jack, which is solid for a laptop of this size. The USB ports aren't super fast, but they do support at least 5 gigabits per second speeds, so it's about what you'd expect at this price. Now, next product on the list is HP Pavilion X36014. Let's start with the specs. The HP Pavilion X36014 comes with Intel's latest 11th generation core processors, up to a Core i5-1135G7, though it starts with a Core i3-1125G4. That makes this a very capable laptop already, and it even includes Iris-Ray graphics. Additionally, the base model comes with 8 GB of dual-channel RAM and a 256 GB SSD. That's a great combination to start with, and it's going to handle day-to-day usage just fine. The $600 budget isn't enough to upgrade all the specs, so you'll have to make some choices here. The display is one area where the Pavilion X360 isn't the best, since it starts with a standard HD 1366 by 768 panel. It measures 20.57 mm in thickness, so it's not particularly thin, and at 3.33 pounds, while it's not very heavy, it's also not especially light. It's just about what you'd expect at this price. There's a good supply of ports with the Pavilion X36014, though. It comes with one USB Type-C port with charging and display output, 2 USB Type-A ports, HDMI 2.0, a headphone jack, and a microSD card reader. While the Type-C port supports charging, there's also a proprietary barrel charging port, too, and that's what's used by default. That covers most of the needs you might have, though there's no Thunderbolt support because this is an affordable device. Now, next product on the list is Victus 15Z. Starting with performance, the Victus 15Z is powered by an AMD Ryzen 5 5600H, which is a processor with 6 cores, 12 threads, and boost speeds up to 4.2 GHz. Whether it's for gaming or productivity, this is a great processor. For the GPU, you get an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1650, which is admittedly an entry-level card at this point. Still, it's powerful enough to handle somewhat modern games, and if you're mostly into esports titles, they'll run very well here. The laptop also includes 8 GB of RAM and a 256 GB SSD by default, and those are things you can upgrade later on if you want to. The display on the Victus 15Z is a 15.6-inch panel, as the laptop's name suggests. It comes in full HD resolution, 1290 by 1080, and by default, it has a 60 Hz refresh rate, but you can upgrade to a 144 Hz display if your budget allows for that. As is the case with many gaming laptops, it's quite thick at 23.22 millimeters, and it also weighs 5.06 pounds, so portability isn't the biggest priority here. One area where this laptop stands out is the supply of ports, which includes one USB Type-C, two USB Type-A, HDMI, RJ45 Ethernet, and a 3.5mm headphone jack, in addition to a full-size SD card reader. You can plug in almost anything directly to this laptop, which is great to see. You don't get Thunderbolt support, though, because it's powered by an AMD processor. Now the last product on the list is HP Pavilion 15. First off, the HP Pavilion 15 comes with the latest AMD Ryzen 5000 series processors, starting with a Ryzen 5 5625U. This is a 15W processor, but it still has 6 cores, 12 threads, and it can boost up to 4.3 GHz, so you're getting plenty of performance here. You can upgrade to a Ryzen 7 5825U if it fits your budget, though that money might be better spent on more RAM or storage. The Pavilion 15 comes with 8 GB of RAM by default and a 256 GB SSD for storage, but you can upgrade up to 16 GB of RAM and 1 TB SSD. As always, with a budget like this, you have to make choices. And if you're making a choice, our recommendation here goes to the display, because the base configuration is not that great. It only includes an HD 1366 by 768 panel, and on a 15.6-inch display, that's just not great. As with other laptops on this list, the camera on the HP Pavilion 15 comes with 720p resolution, and it doesn't support Windows Hello facial recognition. However, it does have a fingerprint reader, so you can always use that to unlock your PC easily. The design of the Pavilion 15 is very much in line with other Pavilion laptops. It tries to look somewhat like HP's more premium laptops, but it's thicker and heavier than you'd expect with a premium device. That's not to say it's overly thick. It measures 17.78 millimeters, and it weighs 3.86 pounds, so it's fairly portable, all things considered. It also has the benefit of coming in either silver, blue, or white, with a silver interior, so you can choose something that matches your personal preference. Finally, there are the ports, and the Pavilion 15 covers most of the needs you might have. There's a USB Type-C port that supports charging and DisplayPort, 2 USB Type-A ports, HDMI 2.0, a headphone jack, and a microSD card reader. There's a proprietary barrel charging port, too, which is the default charging method even though you can charge via USB Type-C. Overall, most peripherals and displays you might want to use with your laptop should work with the Pavilion 15 out of the box thanks to this selection of ports. I hope you liked the video. See you guys next time.